So the other day on the show, we discussed a poll that came out which showed a massive surge from Nikki Haley in the state of New Hampshire, where she picked up, I forget the exact number she picked up, it was definitely double digits, but she surged to within 15 points of Trump. Now I put surge in those quotation marks because when you're 15 points down, that's not really like, ooh, this is amazing. So basically the gist of my commentary in that video was like, does this matter? Does it not matter? Trump did lose 6 points in that poll. DeSantis was floundering. So basically my conclusion was like, yeah, the surge is real, but I'm not sure it matters. Well, guess what? A new poll just came out, and this one is way more real. So it's an American Research Group poll, and listen to this. Trump's at 33%. Haley's at 29%. Just 4 points down. You also have Christie at 13, DeSantis at 6, doing worse than Christie in New Hampshire. That's incredible. Ramaswamy at 5, and Asa Hutchinson, who I don't even know if he's still alive, he's at 1%. But, guys, if Christie and DeSantis drop out, and maybe Vivek, if the other people drop out and it gets to New Hampshire and it's just Trump and Haley, now we're talking about Haley could win. And in fact, in that scenario, she might be the favorite. Now, let's be clear. Let's pump the brakes a little bit here. This is just the state of New Hampshire. It's one state. In the national polls, he's still roughly 17,000 points up. But the fact of the matter now is I no longer think it's speculation. I think it's fair to say that her surge is real. And I don't know what their strategy is. Maybe they're banking all on New Hampshire and they're hoping for like a snowball effect or something. But remember, guys, the most important point is that she just started getting all of the big money Republican donors who have roughly a gazillion dollars. They decided, no, she's the one. We don't want Ron DeSantis. We don't want any of the others. And now they're going all in on Haley. So along with this polling bump, there's also a massive, massive cash influx. And that really matters. That absolutely matters. It matters for ground game. It matters for ads. So, I don't know, man. I think that now it's real. The other question is, well, what's it like in Ohio? I was just going to say Ohio. In Iowa. In Iowa, I think Trump is still up pretty solidly. But if Haley could somehow give herself a better chance in Iowa, if she knocks off Iowa and New Hampshire, that would put her in a much better position. And again, at some point, the Republican donors are going to pull the ripcord even more on all the other ones in the race, and they're going to apply pressure to them. Right now, it's probably soft, but in the near future, they might start hitting them with, look, if you ever want another job in politics again, if you ever want me to donate you ever again, you all got to drop out, and you all got to back Nikki Haley. And if that happens, it'll be really, really interesting to see the dynamic, because I think all of us, at least for 3 or 4 months, we were sort of assuming a 50-state sweep for Trump. Like, literally no bumps in the road. But now, this is the first time we've started to see some cracks here. And this is on top of, you had the fraud conviction on Trump not that long ago. He's found liable for fraud in a civil case in New York. He's going to have to pay up to $250 million. He's going to lose his business license in the state of New York. That's a big deal. That's a massive blow. You have the 91 other criminal charges that he's dealing with. Now you have the Colorado Supreme Court making their decision about how he can't be on the ballot because he violated Section 3 of the 14th Amendment and he's disqualified. And so he's got all these legal troubles that are mounting, which are a whole other problem and beast in and of themselves, because those are going to have to come to a conclusion eventually. If it happens sooner rather than later, that absolutely hurts his chances of, becoming president again. So he's got all these problems, and then if you have a legit surge from another candidate, I don't know. It'll be, I'll just say this. The only thing I'm comfortable saying at this point is that now what looked like an obvious 50-state sweep, that is no longer the case. Is Trump still the overwhelming favorite in the Republican primary? Absolutely. There's no denying it. But at the same time, I don't think any of us would have said, myself included, oh yeah, Nikki Haley will win New Hampshire or be really close in New Hampshire, or have a massive surge. None of us saw this coming. So remember, she's the darling of the media. She has all the money in the world. She's competitive now in New Hampshire, even with all the other candidates in. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, look, I'll leave it on this one here, guys. I don't know who would be worse. I mean, of course, I want to say that because of January 6th, because of the attempt to overturn the last election, and because of how he's promising to be massively authoritarian in a second term, based on that, I think Trump is probably worse. But I will say on policy, Nikki Haley will be just as bad, if not worse. I'm convinced that if Nikki Haley loses, she'll go away, right? But in terms of all sorts of policy, foreign policy, domestic policy, economic policy, taxes, what have you, everything, she would be abysmal. She's just like, the female version of Dick Cheney, as Vivek Ramaswamy said accurately. And Trump, by the way, came out, apparently there was a report, I'm not sure I buy this, but there was a report that said Trump was talking internally to his staffers about maybe offering Nikki Haley the VP slot. Damn. Now, assuming it's true, why would he do that? He would do that to try to, basically get her out of the way and make a deal beforehand and let her know, like, if you don't run, if you don't challenge me for real, then, I'll bring you on board. I'll take you out that way. I'll win you over with kindness, right? So if that report is true, that's definitely the thinking. Like, oh, she's the biggest threat, so let me take her down. But it's possible that's totally made up. I wouldn't be surprised if that's totally made up. It just didn't sound like Trump to me when I heard that. So anyway, that's the new update. The last poll, a big surge to 15 points down was nothing to write home about, but it certainly was a surge. I think the number was, I don't think about it, I think it was like a 16-point surge from Haley, which is a big deal, and a 6-point drop from Trump. But when you're still 15 points down, it's like, whatever. But this one within 4 points, now, it might be an outlier, right? Like, this might not be, verified by the polls that are going to come out in the future, but maybe it is. And if it is, it'll be really interesting. I would like to see a tumultuous race on the right. I would like to see, not just a 50-state sweep from Trump. I've been telling you guys this whole time, man, I've been waiting for, like, the plot twist. I've been waiting for it. I'm like, come on. It's been obvious for a while how this season looks like it's progressing. There's got to be a plot twist at the end. Something with Biden, something with Trump. One of them dying, both of them dying just because they're old as fuck. It's like something happening that's different. Well, we might be beginning to see parts of it here. So anyway, we'll see, but very interesting result, and I'll keep my eye on other polls coming out of there.